one of the species that we introduced into Zinave, and if you look at the rewilding and restoring landscapes in protected areas, is that you have to not only look at bringing back all the herbivores, but also the carnivores. And in the case of Zinave, the first two leopard were brought back. But what you don't see in the video is an incredibly difficult journey that was followed to capture them. And the perils and the danger that the staff went through to translocate these leopard, not in a cage, but just putting them in the back of our plane, and Hannes, our pilot, bravely flew these leopard to Zinave and released them into the park. And we relocated two, a male and a female, in different times. And we were really scared that they will arrive in Zinave, think this is a terrible place to be, and just leave. And we saw the male following the collar, and once it was released, it walked straight out of the park, north into a community area. And for a week, it just made a big circle around the park and came back and stayed there. And then we released the female, and she didn't do that. She stayed in the park. She knew it was a good place. And then we were watching these two on their satellite collars coming together, closer and closer, circling one another, until one day you saw the collars were together. And since that time, we've witnessed the leopard, knowing about each other, crisscrossing just by looking at their tracking collars. So these are the first couple of leopard back in Zinave. Peace Parks was in Zinave since 2015. We never saw any tracks of any leopard. And it's just from a beautiful story that we are able to bring the first big cats back to Zinave.
This move marks probably the beginning of Zinave as a functional national park. I have a very pragmatic vision of conservation areas. Conservation areas must exist for people and for the country. This process that Zinave is undergoing, it will ultimately end with a functional park that brings in tourism, revenues and jobs, where Mozambique and the people that live around Zinave benefit. And Zinave is in the Inhambane province. It's very dry, very remote, so it can really be a beacon of development and a beacon of improved quality of life for the people that live there. Bringing predators is critical for that to happen.
Today we've brought a leopard back. We haven't seen leopard here for the whole time we've been here in 5 years. Quite an event for us, because we've been searching high and low for them and we haven't found any sign of them. Yeah, it's a great day for Zinave. We now have the lion, the leopard, the buffalo, elephant. At the end of the day it's tourism, and hopefully that tourism economy will start to kick in. Our sanctuary is pretty much up to 90% capacity, so the product is now developing to a very marketable point. And then obviously it's the product for the local Mozambicans. There's a national park. There's not many national parks in this area where people can see wildlife in its natural habitat.
What I think that it's special about Mozambique and Anak is the willingness to collaborate, leaving egos aside and working together. Yes, there's lack of capacity, but there's also isolated capacity. And so the key here is to bring it all together and make it work. We wouldn't be able to do it without the Karingani team, without the MWA team, without Peace Parks and Anak looking after Zinave, without a pilot that's willing to risk its own life transporting a leopard under anesthesia for 2 or 3 hours. So I think that's the critical key for success for what's happening in Mozambique.
By introducing apex predators like these leopards into Zinave National Park, it helps to balance the ecosystem. As data on the leopard movements is gathered from their collars, it will be possible to keep an eye on how well they're doing. Keep watching Peace Parks TV to follow this incredible story of rewilding in Zinave National Park.